Hello, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This is Saif, your host from the QoQ Asia Limited Virtual Studio. I hope you're all doing well, both physically and mentally. The most important, you are at home. QoQ Asia Limited is now partnering with City Event Malaysia, and our travel partners are Fly Airlink BD and Plenty Holidays. Everyone watching this live, I would like to request to share this live as much as you can so that we could reach maximum number of people, and kindly post your comment or question in this Facebook page during this live. Like always, QoQ Asia Limited would like to show undivided respect to the frontline workers of our country during this COVID-19 pandemic, who are working long hours every day to keep us safe, precisely to keep us at home and to keep the country moving on. Our doctors, nurses, hospital staff, lab technicians, our government officials, police, army, our journalists who keep us updated with the latest news every day, door-to-door food delivery staffs, and of course, all the bankers in the country. Today's topic for our live session is power of ultra creativity and an agile mindset. But before we proceed, let's watch something very, very interesting. Uh, just give me 1 second so that I can play it immediately.
My name is Sonja Piontek, and I'm a global keynote speaker based out of Singapore. I speak all over the world and regularly get booked by multinationals as well as conference organizers. I speak to audiences from the most diverse cultures as well as backgrounds. Listen to your heart. You yourself know best what's good for you. I have been able to build a global speaking career, and I love to empower people and corporations to reach new heights. I love to show people how to trust themselves and step outside the comfort zone. And if you get to a situation where you're a little bit stuck and you don't know how to proceed, just ask yourself that one simple question. What's the worst thing that can happen? And you will notice in most cases, it ain't all that bad. I love to inspire people and help them unleash their full potential.
Change can be scary because it's so much easier to just do things the way you've done them all the time, the way you know that they work.
I love to share my insights and help people grow. I simply love to make you soar because you can. For a global keynote speaker who actually comes from Munich, it's an immense privilege to be invited to speak in the very Allianz Arena. Soar because you can. Was bedeutet das? Was heißt soar? Apart from my motivational speeches on unleashing potential and being open for change, I also speak about ultra creativity and brand building in the age of digitalization. I think the one thing you need to focus on first are the customers. You lose your business. Simple as that. Ultra creativity is an enormously powerful concept that I have developed. It is about being visionary, thinking outside the box, daring to do things differently. The result is what I call marketing magic. Do things that they haven't done before or that haven't been done before. Because it provenly turns customers into fans and creates impressive measurable return on investment. Now, the target I had gotten from our rather critical CFO was 30%. He was like, you must sell 30% cars. Easy. We ended up doing 150%, which means that some of the guys that went on these tours bought more than one car. Funny enough, when I left BMW, I thought I wasn't going to get booked anymore. Leaving the comfort zone is extremely difficult. But exactly the opposite happened. Event organizers, corporations, they all reached out to me and said, you know what, Sonja, we actually do want you on stage. We love your energy. We love your message.
I was very excited that I've learned a lot of things from Sonja.
Just like the bunny herself, never die. She's always so energetic. Your keynote speech absolutely blew me away.
If you do something that you're passionate about and that fits your skills, can't but excel. There's nothing more powerful than a made-up mind. If you're organizing an event and you're looking for a motivational speaker that will help you achieve your objectives, that will inspire your audience, that will help them think outside the box, challenge the status quo, unleash their potential, get in touch. I'd be more than happy to help.
Okay, so that was an introduction for the audience from our side to the Bangladesh industry. Sonja Piontek, she's live with us at the moment from Munich, Germany. So Sonja, before I proceed, I'd like to ask you, how are you doing, and how's your mom?
Hi. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to this amazing virtual masterclass. I would love to be in Bangladesh with you guys right now, but I'm also quite happy to be here and spend the lockdown together with my family, which is important as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And obviously it would be a pleasure if you could have, take a flight at the moment for Bangladesh. But unfortunately, yes, we are in this lockdown situation. However, I would like to tell our audience that Sonja, she's also one of key resources for QoQ Limited. You can easily see it in our website, QoQAsia.com. Ultra creativity, unleash the power within. The world around us has changed. We all are faced with a new reality that is in many ways totally unfamiliar to us. How do we deal with this enormous global change that has so many effects on our individual lives? How do we navigate the unknown? How do we master this crisis? Based on these questions, based on this topic, I would like to ask Sonja to give her thoughts in terms of ultra creativity. Over to you, Sonja.
Yes, as you so rightly said, we are in a very challenging time, and we are in a time that none of us has ever experienced before. So anything that is happening at the moment is new, is totally new. So what we just need to do is we cannot simply do things the way we used to do them, the way they used to work. Because if everything around us has changed, we also need to try new ways. We need to have a totally agile and very positive mindset in order to actually thrive and survive during this challenging time. And I was thinking a lot, like when it all started, obviously in the beginning, we were all like, oh yeah, something's happening in China. And then all of a sudden we realized, whoa, this is not just happening in China. This is actually happening globally. This is happening in my very own life. So as the negativity around me grew and as people were getting more desperate, I sat down and I thought, what can I do to help my friends, to help my clients, to be there for my community? What is it that I can best do to help them? And I'm a global keynote speaker, and I do a lot of speeches and trainings on the topic of ultra creativity, which is basically a mindset and a set of tools that makes it possible to do the impossible, especially during difficult times. So I was sitting there and thinking, okay, what can I do to help and to inspire people to be more positive and not to give up? So I thought, okay, I can write a book about my main topic that I talk about and that I teach about. So I'm like, okay, let me write a motivational book and share all the valuable and tangible tools. But then I thought, okay, it will be a great book. Obviously, it's going to be a great book, but it's just going to be another motivational book. How can I make it different? And how can I prove that the concept really works? Because saying so is one thing, but to actually prove that it works is a totally different game. So I publicly challenged myself to the following. I said, I so strongly believe in my concept of ultra creativity and the mindset to make the impossible possible, that I will create a bestseller in 1 week. And that's when it hit me. People were going, seriously, are you crazy? You know, you can't write a book and bring it to bestseller status in a week. And everyone around me was like, Sonja, this is impossible. But then I thought, you know what? I believe in my concept of ultra creativity. I know that with the right tools and a fully determined mind, it is actually possible. So on a Saturday morning, I sat down and I started to write. And I had to write the book. I had to proofread it. I had to edit it. I had to get testimonials. I had to do the cover design. I had to write the cover text. I had to define the subtitle. I had to learn all about ebooks and publishing on Amazon because I had never done an ebook before. I am a strong believer in professional publishing, and all my books beforehand were with publishers. So I had to learn all about ebook publishing. I had to do all the promotion to actually get it to a level where it would be a bestseller. And guess what? Within 1 week, it hit Amazon best-selling status in 4 different categories across 3 continents. That itself was proof that the right mindset can actually help you make the impossible possible.
That's crazy, Sonja. That's like crazy. Are you crazy? You did it in just 1 week? I mean, how did you do that?
Basically, I followed my own teachings. I applied what I normally help my corporate clients with. So I do a lot of keynote speeches, at the moment more virtual speeches. I do a lot of master classes and training sessions on the right mindset. And I just sat down and said, you know what, I need to apply this to myself, to this book project in order to get it done. And I'm happy to share a few of the insights and a few of the tools that hopefully will help the audience as well to be more productive and sort of get through this crisis better.
Great, amazing, wow. Sonja, like you always say that an agile mindset will help you make the impossible possible during difficult times.
Yes.
Especially when we are in this situation, like it's a global crisis, right? Everyone is bound to be at home in terms of this lockdown, movement control order, circuit breaker. Can you please elaborate to us?
Yeah, so basically an agile mindset is never bad. It's always a good idea. But during a crisis, during a time when the whole world is changing, when everything that used to be normal is not normal anymore, when the new normal is not defined yet, when things are changing basically on a daily basis, this is when you definitely need an agile mindset, where you need to be totally flexible mentally, not only in the ways you think and approach things, but also in the ways you judge things. So you see that the old ways of selling, of marketing, of running your business do not work anymore. Even the old ways of just going to school for kids don't work anymore. So it's all about, okay, let's try a new way. But you need to constantly also challenge yourself and be open to say, is the way that I have chosen, is that really the right way? It might be for a week or 2, but then the world around us keeps moving and it moves faster than it has ever moved before. So we need to totally readjust, and we just need to keep that super agile mindset where we say, okay, let's try this out. Maybe it doesn't work, then I need to switch. Maybe it works for a while, but then the world around us changes again. So we need to adjust again. So this is the time where we mentally need to be super, super agile and flexible. And we need to also allow our teams, our companies, everyone around us to be agile as well. And we need to openly discuss, and we must not judge. We can also say, you know what, we had a great idea last week. Does it still work? Is it applicable? Did it work? No, let's move on. Let's try something new. So it's very, very quick at the moment.
Okay, thanks for sharing the thoughts, Sonja. I would like to ask you, like, in your latest, I would say, flyers or the brochures I have seen, you mentioned about a few key points in terms of agile mindset or ultra creativity. You mentioned about leave the comfort zone, reality check, and be determined. Can you please explain to us?
Yeah. So I myself, I would say I know a little bit about leaving the comfort zone. I came to Singapore originally 6 years ago as the director of marketing for none other than BMW Asia. BMW itself, an absolutely incredible brand. So I worked for the most phenomenal brand in an amazing position in an amazing region. I had all that came with it. And I had an amazing life, I have to say. But then it got to a point where I felt that there was more out there for me, that I wanted to really follow my heart, and that I wanted to fully focus on the things that I'm most passionate about. So I started considering leaving the comfort zone and stepping out of that corporate super life. And trust me, it was a very, very difficult decision to take. And I had sleepless nights. I had moments where I totally doubted my own judgment, where I really didn't know what was right and what was wrong. But in the end, I always sat down and said, okay, I need to listen to my own heart. I really need to listen to my heart. I need to focus on my strengths. And if the hesitation gets too much, I need to do one thing. I need to ask myself one important question. What is the worst thing that can possibly go wrong? And that's something in any difficult situation. Just ask yourself that simple question. What is the worst thing that can possibly go wrong? In my case, I have a good education. I've got a good career. I've got a great CV. I speak various languages. And I was like, am I going to starve? No. Am I going to lose my friends or my family? No. Am I going? And then I started realizing, hey, the worst thing isn't actually that bad. So I did that big, big leap into the unknown, left my personal comfort zone, and all I can say, beyond the comfort zone is a universe of opportunities. And that universe has unfolded for me over the last 2 years in the most beautiful way. But I was the one, I had to take that very first step. Now, the situation at the moment is slightly different. In many cases, people can still consciously take the step outside their comfort zones. In some other cases, Corona and the current situation is actually pushing us outside our comfort zone. So it's not, a lot of us don't really have a choice. It's basically, we are being pushed out of our comfort zones. But the one thing I can only say is let's all be open. What is beyond that comfort zone, beyond our status quo, can be so beautiful. But we need to be the ones in control. We need to be the ones that consciously go on this journey. But we need to also be aware that at the moment, the situation around us is pushing us out of our comfort zones. But let's be open and let's just be conscious about this process.
Thank you so much, Sonja. You posted something in LinkedIn today. It was very interesting.
What was it?
I was looking at the post, 6 a.m. in this morning. The toughest part about being on a Zoom call with an important client was not getting up, but looking presentable. Yes, it was tough, but are not we just so lucky and fortunate that technology makes it possible to speak with anyone, anytime, anywhere in the world? Can you please say us something about it?
Yeah, so basically, I had this Zoom call with a very important client of mine, preparing a masterclass for all their sales network. And to be honest, 6 o'clock is not a time when I would normally want to look into a Zoom call and give my brightest smile. But then again, sometimes it's just necessary. And that's also that whole agility that we need to just show at the moment. I didn't have to be physically there. All I had to do is take a quick shower, put on a big smile, grab a cup of tea, and just be present. And that is something I could get really irritated about and say, oh my God, it's so early. But I prefer to be positive about these things and just see the opportunities. The client is in Singapore. I am in Munich at the moment. To be able to have the technology to quickly go on a call, have all the alignment, to be able to now sit here with you. I'm sitting here in Germany, you're in Singapore, the audience is in Bangladesh mainly, and somewhere around the world. This is so beautiful. This is something where also that agility helps to just say, okay, this is our new norm. Let's just appreciate it and make the best out of it, rather than saying, oh my God, I cannot fly to my clients in Bangladesh, in India, in Vietnam, in New Zealand. I can actually do very quick programs through the internet, on Zoom, on all those platforms. And we're working closely with a lot of our clients, and it's beautiful to see what new formats have arisen already out of this, where we can help a lot of people through this beautiful platform. So yes, I would love to sit in Bangladesh at the moment, and I would love to have some local food, which definitely does not work via Zoom. But to be able to speak to all of you, I'm super happy.
Thanks, Sonia. We will be looking forward to have you in Bangladesh as well when this is over. All right, we will take some questions. Obviously, we have 2 participants live with us at the moment, but I would like to remind our audiences who are watching us live at the moment, please ask your question in our comment box so that we can place it to her and she can immediately respond to that. We have Victor, Wakas Victor from Malaysia. I think he has some questions in terms of ultra creativity and agile mindset. Victor, you're on live. Can you please share your screen with us, and we can see you? And can you please ask your question?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. This is Victor. Hi, Sonia. Hi, Saif, and hi, Mr. Ganguly, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Sonia, thank you for
How's the situation in Malaysia, first of all?
Thank God it's a bit relaxed now. Like people, like the government give us a relaxation. We can just move around much better than the previous one.
As far as I know, you cannot move around. Still, it is movement control order.
Yeah, it is. It is, but it's much better than before. Like before, there was a total lockdown, but now there is a relaxation. Like the malls are open. You can go to the restaurants, and you can eat around. So it's
right. The best part about Malaysia is the recovery ratio of the COVID-19 patients is really high. And to be honest, what I have learned recently, that in terms of this pandemic, Malaysia is one of the role models at the moment. Like the way they have taken the initiatives, the movement control order, they extended, and so on. So thank God. I mean, obviously, we pray that we can overcome this global crisis, and obviously, we want to get our lives back. But we're not doing bad. Ultimately, we are all connected. We are utilizing the technologies, right? So yeah. Victor, what would be a question for Sonia in terms of ultra creativity and agile mindset?
Okay, Sonia, first of all, thank you for your time, and this is very thoughtful of your speech here. And yeah, there's quite I was listening to you, and I was listening like that. You were being in BMW before, right?
Yes.
Okay, and actually, for me, like that, most of our participants from the corporate industry, right? So I'm just going to have one question. As you know that when I have some idea, right? I might be so agile about it, but in corporate level, there are some certain levels you have to go through, like in the management and everything. And let's suppose I have an idea like that. I go to my boss, like boss, I have this idea. Like he has a boss, like so the chain, right? So how if I have an idea like it's not working nicely, right? And maybe in 1 week it doesn't go the way I want. Right, and how in this type of situation I can be agile or energetic the way I was in the beginning?
I think the most important thing is to be fully determined and to have a very clearly made up mind. I totally understand that the corporate environment sometimes makes it difficult to move quickly, but also in the corporate environment, everyone understands at the moment that things need to be done differently. So I think if you really believe in your project, in your idea, and you're fully determined to actually make it happen, I think with that spirit, you can succeed. yes, you might sometimes hit a point where you go, okay, I need to convince another group of people. I need to explain that again. But if people see how fully committed you are, how open you are also to question the way you're doing, to challenge the way you're going, I think this is something where you can really succeed, where they will see, oh my God, he really strongly believes in it, but he also is aware that the current situation requires a totally different working setup, and he is open enough to question himself every few days, or not question, but challenge himself and say, okay, is there a better way of doing it? So I think just that commitment and that spirit really helps.
Okay.
Thanks, Sonia. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Victor, I
Sonia.
hope that answered your question.
Yeah, sure, bro. Thanks, Sai. Thanks,
Thanks,
Sonia.
Victor. Thanks for being with us. We move on to our next live participant. His name is Kingshu Ganguly. He's working in one of the banks of Bangladesh, and he would like to ask a question for you, Sonia. Kingshu, would you please introduce yourself and,
Yes,
ask the
yes.
question?
Sure. Thank you, Sonia. I'm Kingshu Ganguly, working with Prime Bank currently. So far I have listened to you. I believe the agile thing is a belief system. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, fine. In such cases, can you suggest some other ways other than practice? What I think, other than practice, it's not going to develop towards inside someone correctly, right? You need to do a lot of practice to develop agile mindset.
You need to do it, and I think what helps is to do it together with other people, so you don't have to do it on your own. So if you team up with someone and say, you know what, let's just use the time now and let's try to do things slightly differently, let's try out new ways, come on, you can join me, it helps to do it together. And
Right.
it's really powerful to do it as a team. But also what I always say is, whilst you're trying something new, do focus on your core strength. So if I, for example, had challenged myself to develop an app, I am not an IT specialist. I can guarantee you it would have been a lot more difficult. But creating a book, writing a bestseller is something where I say, okay, I'm good at writing, I'm good at promoting, I know the topic really well. So that was something where it really helped me to sort of get the basis right. The part where I needed to be extremely agile was all of a sudden letting go of my belief of only fully professionally published books are good and I need a publisher. And then all of a sudden it came to a point where I said, okay, now I need to actually do it as an ebook. And that was something new to me as well. But if you then strongly believe in something and you have the right basis, you go, okay, this part, I can actually do it. And you try it out and it works.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Kingshuk, I hope answered your question.
Perfectly.
Thanks. Thanks for being with us. Sonia, I have a question for you, which came to our comment box. It's for the entrepreneurs. What would be your advice for the entrepreneurs at this global pandemic?
I think one of the key things that we as entrepreneurs can do is let's use our resources. And with resources, I mean, let's just tap into every potential that we can think of. Let's think of, okay, we're in a difficult situation. Who are the people that have supported us in the past? Who are our clients? How can our clients potentially help us through this crisis? What have we done? What have we developed in the past that we might not have done 2-3 years ago because it wasn't necessary then? What ideas have we had before? What ideas do we have now? What connections do we have? Who can we tap on in our network? Basically, every single resource that could help us get through. And let's not be ashamed of asking for support. Let's use this time to really say, okay, dear clients, can you help me, please? As a business, we want to get through this. Or dear business partner, can we cooperate and create something together that will help both of us get through? So basically see what kind of resources do you have in your company, in your teams, in your clients, in your network, to really make a difference and come up with new ideas and make new ideas a reality to get you through.
Great. Thank you so much, Sonia. One more question is, I think it's a general question, but still I would like to ask you, how do I develop my agile mindset, especially in corporate life?
It's not an easy one. It's not an easy one, especially when you sort of look at the corporate world, which isn't known to be extremely agile. But there are new trends, and I think it is important to just be aware of the fact that an agile mindset will open so many doors. And do not, in a corporate environment, do not wait for your company sort of to create the right agile platform. Start here, start with yourself, start with your coworkers, start with your team. If every single one starts with themselves, the company, the corporation cannot but become more agile. So don't just lean back and say, okay, I work in a big corporation, let me wait till I get my first training on it, on an agile mindset. Start with yourself. Read about agility. Listen to master classes. Just try new ways of thinking. Talk to your friends about it. Talk to your peers at work about it. But the main thing is start with yourself.
Great. Sonia, like, do you want to say something for corporate leaders in Bangladesh in terms of agile mindset or creativity, like in short?
I think, to be honest, I think that from my experience working with the Bangladesh market is that the Bangladesh culture is extremely quick. People are very open to explore, to try things, to just say, okay, let's give this a go and see if it happens, if it's possible to go this way. So I think the Bangladesh culture is extremely good, or has a good starting point for that kind of mindset. If you then apply the right tools that I teach in my classes and my keynotes about ultra creativity, if you focus on your strength, if you develop the right determination, if you use your resources, if you follow your heart, I think then the Bangladesh market has all the potential to really rise and soar through this crisis. And I don't want to say that there's not going to be challenges, because there will be challenges. And I myself am going through a phase where obviously my businesses aren't thriving as much as they used to. And with travel restrictions, we have massive challenges. But if you have the right mindset, there's still a lot you can do and you can achieve.
Thank you. And thanks for the compliment for Bangladesh market, Sonia. Thank you so much. Well, last but not the least, in this pandemic, right, when we are in lockdown situation, but the world moves on with the economy and the other essential services. And on top of that, we can't stop our business. The business continuity should be there. So in terms of learning and development, in terms of training, how do we cope up with the situation?
I think at the moment, the only way forward, if we have to just do it virtually. And a lot of my clients who in the beginning of this whole pandemic said, no, we'll just sit it out and we'll do the big live sessions and the big corporate events and corporate trainings and team events. They are now all realizing that this is going to last a lot longer than we all expected. And so we're now developing a lot of custom-made programs for the different clients to really see how can we best help them in this situation. And at the moment, it's simply virtual. But I don't actually see it as a big disadvantage, because in many ways, this is a lot quicker and this is also cheaper, because you don't have to fly someone like me over into your country. You don't have to come up with all the big venues, and you don't have to do like a full day event. Sometimes it's a matter of doing a 2-3 hour session, sometimes even just a half-hour inspiration for your teams. And that is a lot cheaper than running a big team event for all your employees. So whilst it's all new, there are some big advantages also that the situation now forces us to do it all virtually.
Yeah, that's great. Like the coin has two sides. So
Oh,
yeah,
totally.
obviously we have disadvantages, of course, but if we talk about the positive side of the situation, I mean, what you have just mentioned in terms of learning that we can do it virtually, which is a lot more easier and also like cheaper. Thank you so much, Sonia. And I'd like to ask Kingshuk and Victor, do you have any more question for Sonia? Victor, Kingshuk?
No, no.
No,
Thank you.
sir. Thank you very much for the session. Hello, can you hear me?
Taif, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So sorry. There's a question for you. How could top management take initiatives to make its employees agile mindset?
I think the first thing they have to do is show an agile mindset themselves. Whilst, for example, previously it was all about appearing in front of their teams in a big suit at a corporate event, I think for leaders to all of a sudden say, you know what, let us do a different format. Let me, for example, host a masterclass, host it myself, and they invite someone, for example, like me, but they are the MCs all of a sudden, and they run it out of their home base, where people also get a glimpse into their, for example, into their living room. That is something where they really show, I'm not just expecting you to be agile, but I am open for new formats as well. I'm showing that we are trying new things.
Amazing. And one thing I would like to add on, which is ultra creativity or agile mindset, is not applicable to any particular industry or sector. It is applicable to everyone, right?
Oh, definitely. And it's necessary for everyone at the moment.
Right.
Never before has it been so important to have an agile mindset and to have just to be open. I call it ultra creativity. You might just call it a mindset that is open to make the impossible possible, a mindset that is open to unleash your potential.
That's true. That's true. I mean, 100% agree on that. Well, for our live audiences, we don't have any more questions at the moment. However, I would like to tell the audiences who are watching us live and who will be watching us later on, because there will be some share of this live session. Thank you so much for being with us. We'd be, glad to hear from you, of course, in terms of the feedback of this live session. Please reach us through email, which is info@QoQAsia.com. If you have any suggestion, if you have any feedback, you can text us in our Facebook, and also just to let everyone know, we are planning to organize some online training program for the industry, like across the industry in Bangladesh, in terms of agile mindset and ultra creativity with Sonja Piontek. As I mentioned earlier, she's one of our key resources for QoQ Asia Limited. So in Bangladesh, I mean, she's really happy to conduct any master class or training session for the country. So please let us know if anyone is interested in terms of their organization. If you're interested individually, you can reach us via email. You can drop your comment in our Facebook page. We have our LinkedIn page, Instagram, and Twitter page as well. And all the videos are being uploaded in our YouTube channel. Sonia, one more last question. I just received it. I'm so sorry, Sonia. Is it okay?
Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
The question is how training to the employees to develop ultra creativity. What sort of trainings or what kind of training would be applicable for the employees which could develop ultra creativity?
I think the first thing is at the moment it would be a virtual training. But as I mentioned before, we are currently, I'm working closely with some of my international clients to develop very nice training programs for different size organizations, for organizations from all sorts of different backgrounds. It could be, I mean, if it's just a nice little sort of inspiration. It could be something just like a 1-hour masterclass, but I've done training sessions that ran over a whole day. It's all possible. It's just something where I would say, let's discuss the requirements. Let's discuss the situation, because what I always do, for me, there is no such thing as a plug and play. It's every single keynote I do, every single masterclass I do, every single training I do is fully customized to the company, to the objectives of the company, to the target group, so that really we get the most out of it for the client. That is my main objective. So please, let's discuss this offsite and just see how we can best help. But anything is possible, and let's just find the right solution for the person that asked that question.
Great. Thank you so much, Sonja. At last, I would request you to say something, for the corporate leaders in Bangladesh who are sitting in the top management across the sectors, in banks, in financial organizations, in insurance companies, in telecommunication, pharmaceuticals, hospitals, everywhere. Can you please say something for corporate leaders?
I think the one message to all corporate leaders at the moment, corporate as well as political leaders, is we are the ones that will get the rest through this crisis. So we need to be the ones leading with a good example. We need to be the ones having the right spirit, having the right determination, being positive, and doing our utmost to make sure that everyone gets through this challenging time with a smile at the end of the journey. It's
Great.
Our responsibility. And if you need any help, I'm more than happy to help you and your teams. And a very selfish thing, I really want to work more with Bangladesh and with the Bangladesh market. So I dare you. So let's say the first 3 bookings that we get through QoQ Asia for any masterclass, speech, training session will be done at 50% discount for the Bangladesh market.
Wow. Thank you so much, Sonja. It's a pleasure. And I believe the corporate leaders who are watching us at the moment and who are watching us later on, they will be really happy
I hope so.
Proposal. So, thank you so much, Sonja. We'll not take much time from you now, because I understand you're quite occupied with the schedule. And I would like to request our audiences one more time, please share the live as much as you can, so that the important message, important discussion we had today, it could reach maximum number of people in Bangladesh, of course. Also, I would like to request again any feedback, any suggestion, and when you need any training or any online session based on creativity or agile mindset, please let us know. We will try to get Sonja on board as soon as we can, and obviously it depends on her schedule, but we promise we'll get it done.
Make it happen.
Yeah, we'll make it happen for sure. So thank you so much, Sonja. Thank you so much, Kingshuk and Victor, for being with us for so long. Thank you so much again. And I would like to wrap this session. Can I say something in my language, Sonja? I think it's okay for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. আপনাদের সবাইকে অনেক ধন্যবাদ আমাদের সাথে ছিলেন এতক্ষণ, আমাদেরকে কমেন্ট করেছেন, আমাদেরকে যারা কোশ্চেন করেছেন। প্লিজ আমাদেরকে রিচ করুন, আমাদের কাজের প্রশংসা করুন এবং সমালোচনা করুন। সমালোচনা এবং প্রশংসা একই সাথে সাদরে আমরা গ্রহণ করব। এবং আপনাদের কাছে আবারও রিকোয়েস্ট, আমি বলেছি আবারও বলবো, আপনাদের প্রতিবেশীর খোঁজ নিয়ে, যার যার অবস্থান থেকে আমরা যদি প্রতিবেশীর খোঁজ নিয়ে, আমাদের আত্মীয় স্বজনের খোঁজ নিয়ে, আমাদের বন্ধু বান্ধবদের খোঁজ নিয়ে, অবভিয়াসলি ভার্চুয়ালি, সো জাতিগত হিসেবে আমরা জাতিগতভাবে আমরা এক হতে পারবো, দ্যাটস ফর শিওর। সো আপনারা যার যার অবস্থান থেকে কাইন্ডলি আপনাদের প্রতিবেশীর খোঁজ নিন, ওনারা কেমন আছেন, কি অবস্থানে আছেন, এবং আপনাদের নিজেদের খেয়াল রাখুন। স্টে হোম, স্টে সেফ, বিকজ রিমেম্বার ওয়ান থিং, we may apart, but we are in this together and we will get through this together for sure. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon in our next live session. Thank you, Sonja. Thanks, Victor and Kingshuk.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care, Sonja. Bye-bye.